Om Shantam Muktam Bimala Charitartiharam Dinabandhum Tyagishreshtam Patita Sharanam Pavanam Premusindhum Meri Putram Vijitamamaram Chinmayam Brahma Sangastam Bande Liladhrita Vardhanum Srishta Ishavataram Papishthanam Aguhasya Krusavedham Suduswaham Prayaschitta Vidhanaya So Utititikshasvasanaumitam. I adore Christ, the incarnation of God, who in divine play assumed the handsome appearance of Son of Mary. I offer my obeisance to Christ, the incarnate of God who is beyond death, consciousness absolute, residing in Supreme Soul, self-possessed, free and pure, who is remover of afflictions, supreme renouncer, friend of the humble, shelter of the fallen, sanctifier of all and ocean of love. I bow down to Christ, who endured extreme, intolerable sufferings of crucifixion for the purpose of atonement of the sins of very sinful persons. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. This morning our subject is love one another. This is the Christmas service. Our scripture says that when religion declines, irreligion prevails, God incarnates to establish the eternal religion. That is the message of Gita. Jesus is an incarnation of God. Some may doubt about his historicity or existence, but the followers of Sri Ramakrishna will never doubt about it. Sri Ramakrishna had the vision of Christ, and he saw that Jesus merged in him. Jesus was the given name by his parents. In the Gospel of Matthew, he mentioned that Jesus is the Messiah, foretold by Old Testament prophets. Messiah, the Christ. The word Messiah is the Hebrew word, and the Christ is the Greek word. But the meaning of both words is the anointed. Means that person is chosen and representative of God who comes to this world to redeem and rule. They come with a special power. They change the materialistic worldliness of religion. When religion becomes commercial, full of hypocrisy, they come to change that kind of atmosphere. Incarnation. The Muslims believe Paigambar, Muhammad Rasulullah. Muhammad is the last prophet. The Hindus have avatars. The Christians have the Son of God. And in the Bible, in Buddhism, we find the name of Buddha. Buddha actually is not the name. His name was Siddhartha. He attained Buddhahood. Buddha is not the name. The Buddha means the awakened one, the illumined one. That is Buddha. So it's like that Christ is not the actual name. His name was Jesus. And in the Bible we find Jesus revealed himself in many places. He says, I am the Son of God. I am the Messiah. I am the truth. I am the light. I am the door. I am the bridge of life. In many ways, I am the resurrection. He who has seen me has seen the Father. This is the way he revealed himself in many, many places in the Bible. Ordinary people cannot recognize God if God does not reveal himself to us. Love one another. When we utter the word love, we feel some kind of positive force inside. We feel some kind of joy. We feel strength inside. Because that word love is divine. Love acts like cement in our family life, in our social life, in our spiritual life. It connects. Hatred divides, separates. Love connects. We find in the Dhammapada, Buddha says, hatred cannot be conquered by hatred. Hatred can be conquered only by love. This is the eternal law. We need love. How we connect ourselves? The word relation in Sanskrit is called Atmiya. Atmiya means connected with the Atman. How we are connected with the Atman? Very interesting. There is a beautiful Sanskrit verse, I shall not tell the Sanskrit, that some people think you are a stranger. They are very small-minded people. But those who think that whole world are my relatives, they are the great souls. They are the great ones. They are the great teachers of the world. They can embrace whole humanity, thinking all of them as their relatives. Relationship. Our Upanishad says, the husband loves the wife not for the sake of the wife, but for the sake of the self. The wife loves the husband not for the sake of the husband, for the sake of the self. Atmanastu, kamaya, potim priya bhavati, atmanastu. Do you know what that means? It means the husband sees the same self, same consciousness is in my wife. And wife also sees the same my consciousness within my husband. There is the connection. Otherwise, our bodies are different, our minds are different, our educations are different, our upbringings are different. But we feel connected. How? Where? In Atman. Through consciousness, we connect ourselves. From there comes deep feelings. Very interesting how we say that relationship. During Christmas, we find so much traffic. People are flying to see their relatives. They are driving, they are going by train. Relationship. I want to see my father, my mother during Christmas. I want to see my children. You know, that is the way we feel a bond. That is called Atmiya. That is called relationship. It is extremely important, relationship. When you have established relationship, you have no fear. The children feel my parents will always protect me. I remember we had a devotee. She was divorced, 3 children, very little money, had no money to buy some Christmas gifts to her children. Someone gave her some money, she went to Target, with her 3 children and bought some gifts. I was thinking about that mother. I see her joyful face, and I see the joyful face of her children, that my mother bought something for me. You know, that is called love. Love gives, not takes. The giver. We shall talk about it, about how it works. Feel for others. That is true religion. Sometimes I think about the great teachers of the world. They didn't live long. Shankara lived only 32 years. Christ, 33 years. Vivekananda, 39 years. Chaitanya, 48 years. Ramakrishna, 51 years. But when we see their achievements, their contributions to humanity, we marvel. Their message, goes from generation after generation. Christ's public life was only 3 years. And if you read the red letter Bible, only Christ's words, it takes only 3 hours. In 3 hours you can finish the whole Bible, what Christ said. But look at the impact of his teachings and message. Over the last 2,000 years, so many people are writing books, poems, songs, stories, dramas, sculptors, painters. They are making statues, paintings. This is the way we find that these people are not ordinary people. They are incarnations of God, great teachers of humanity. Each avatar comes with a special message. Rama came to teach people truthfulness, satyam, shatta. Krishna taught dharma, righteousness. Buddha taught them many things, mainly focused ahimsa, non-violence. Christ emphasized love. You will have to understand, during the time of Christ, the Jewish religion was stagnating with the innumerable laws of Moses. To that very Hinduism also and Jewish religion, very ritualistic, very orthodox, rigid. When the religion is guided by laws and the rigidity, religion cannot breathe, suffocates. Christ brought love in his religion so that people can feel the freshness of the eternal. That is the way it works. Sri Ramakrishna brought the message of harmony of religions and renunciation, which is the need of this age. No other quality of God is so easily seen in the life and teachings of Jesus as the quality of love. Indeed, love is so central to the character of God as presented in by and by Jesus that some New Testament writers say God is love. God is love, love is God. Mahatma Gandhi used to say God is truth and truth is God. Same thing. So the most important teaching of Christ we find in the Sermon on the Mount. You will have to understand, Jesus is Jewish. His disciples are all Jewish. And he is inculcating, teaching a new religion, which originated from Judaism. What is new in Jesus' religion? It is extremely important for us to see how this ancient religion is taking a new shape as Christianity through Jesus. Very interesting. He was on the Sermon on the Mount. We find Jesus was training his new disciples who will carry his message. I shall read a few passages to you. Then you will see that what old religion says and what new religion says. When he says, you have heard, listen. You have heard that it was said to the men of old, you shall not kill. Those are all teachings of Moses, the 10 Commandments. Do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not bear false witness. Those 10 Commandments are the guiding eternal rules. They will never change. So Jesus was telling, you shall not kill, and whoever kills shall be liable to judgment. Now he is telling, listen to my message. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother shall be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother shall be liable to the council. And whoever says, you fool, shall be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering your gifts at the altar, and they remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother and then come and offer your gift. Make friends quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge. Anyhow, do you know what? This teaching is very vital in our spiritual life. If you have resentment or if you have kind of ill feeling against others and you go to the shrine and sit for meditation, it will not work. You will fail. You are sitting in the shrine in front of the deity, will be meaningless because your mind is most smoldering with anger or hatred. It will not work. It is a very, very pragmatic teaching of Christ. First reconcile. Even if necessary, show your humility. You may not be, it is not your fault, but still you repair your mind first and then come to the shrine and meditate. That is a very, very important teaching. Then again, listen what Christ said. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist one who is evil. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your coat, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. He was talking about, sometimes some people think, I shall take revenge. You tell me this, I shall return that insult. That is very, very bad. Never harbor ill feeling for others. That will ruin your life. It will be a boomerang. I'm harboring hatred and anger towards others. It will not work. It will ruin your life. You know, when we read these things, we can feel the impact of all these teachings to humanity. Moreover, we find renunciation. Somebody give away. Be happy. Don't disturb me. It reminds me of a very tiny incident of Swami Brahmananda. He was meditating in Vrindavan. Sometimes some rich people give blankets So he put the blanket around his body and was meditating. And another person came and took away the blanket from him. And he looked and smiled. Perhaps that person needed that blanket. Renunciation works. Again, Christ said, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collector do the same? And if you salute only your brethren, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You, therefore, must be perfect, as the Father in heaven is perfect." That is wonderful teachings. Love your enemies. You know, love has a healing power. Healing power. If a person is going astray, through love, you can change that person's character. Sometimes some people hurt you, and you pour love to that person. Your wound will heal very quickly. Healing power of love. I remember once in Hollywood, Swami Prabhupada told me, "Listen, there is no glory to make a good man good. If you can make a bad man good, then there is a glory." You were teaching Vedanta, the great teachings, wonderful teachings. It must change others' lives and character. It is extremely important. I know some people, rich people, they bring their rich friends and give a party and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, I feel very bad when they do that. With that money, you can go to some people and help some poor people in this town. Just 2 days ago, I got some pictures from Vrindavan Ashrama. Do you know what do? They buy blankets. And in Vrindavan, there are many homeless people. At midnight, these monks go and drop blankets on those people, those who are living on the temple porch or in the sidewalk or anywhere. They distribute blankets and dump blankets all over the city. Some widows, they come nearly 400-500 widows, poor women, no money. A Vrindavan Swami collects some money and buys rice, flour, mustard oil, soap, all these things they give to these women. And recently, it is joy for me. Somebody gave me a little money. I sent $3,000 in Bangladesh. So in our village, they bought nearly 200 blankets and gave to the poor villagers. And other 3 places also, they distributed like that. Poor people cannot afford to buy a blanket. That is the way the money should be spent. Otherwise, party, big banquet, misuse of money. You will get blessings of humanity. There is a saying in our language, "Tele mata tel diyo na." Don't put oil on the oily head. Put oil to the head which is dry. You see, the Christianity, Christ's teachings is very service-oriented. Look. Then he told the golden rule. Whatever you will wish that men would do to you, do so to them. A Pharisee lawyer asked Jesus, Master, which is the great commandment of law? Jesus replied, love thy Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Beautiful teachings. Do you know what this means? First God, then God's children. One of our Swamis used to say, Ramakrishna mission. First Ramakrishna, then his mission. And if you reverse it, you will be in trouble. Jesus says, first seek the kingdom of heaven and everything shall be added unto you. First God, then other things. Otherwise, do you know what happens? Suppose I do a lot of philanthropic activities, I have tremendous name, fame, and newspaper is, giving all news about me. That will inflate the ego. First God, think that you are you are an instrument of God. That is the way it works, anyhow. Those first 4 words Christ used, love thy Lord with all thy heart, that is bhakti yoga, path of devotion. All thy soul, jnana yoga, path of knowledge. All thy mind, that is raja yoga, path of meditation. All thy strength, that is karma yoga, path of action. So Christ taught 4 yogas. These 4 yogas, yoga means unite, which can unite us with God. The next thing we find, Christ said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Why should I love myself? Why should I love my neighbor? What shall I gain? If in Buddhism we find, be good and do good. Be good and do good. Why should I do good to others? I shall not get the result, you will get the result. The answer is not in that religion. The answer is in non-dualistic Vedanta. Doing good to you, I am good, doing good to myself. The next question is, who is my neighbor? In that connection, we find in the Luke, Gospel according to Luke, that he says the story of the Good Samaritan. That is one of the best parables of Jesus. Good Samaritan. We always talk about Good Samaritan, Good Samaritan, Good Samaritan. The story goes, when I was reading one book yesterday, they're talking about Jerusalem to Jericho. Jerusalem is on the top of the hill. It is 600 feet above sea level. 650 feet above sea level. That is Jerusalem. And Jericho is 822 feet below sea level. Do you know what that means? That is near the Dead Sea. So this road is very steep, 35 miles. Sometimes I get all these statistics so that I can visualize that how at that time people would go and travel. So a man was passing and he was, as the Bible says, he was attacked, he was robbed, he was stripped, he was wounded. And they kept him by the side of the road and left. Then came a priest. He saw that person, did not do anything. He also walked. And that road was infested with robbers, very dangerous, unpopulated, not very good, and very rocky, wild. It is not a good road. So, if somebody does not see you, there is no chance for you to survive. So the first priest left, did not do anything. Then came a Levite. He is the assistant priest, you can think that way. He also did not do anything. He also saw that person. Then came that Samaritan, a good Samaritan. He came, he was riding on his horse. He saw that man, he got down from the horse, he went to that person. He cleaned his wound with oil and wine. That was the customary medication available at the time of for cleaning the wound. Oil and wine. We do not know all this. Nowadays, perhaps, we do not use those things, oil and wine. And then he bandaged him and carried him and put him on his own horse and then came to the nearest inn. He brought food and gave him shelter in that inn. He spent his own money. And he said that he told the innkeeper, the owner, look, I am going for a business. I am leaving money, sufficient money, so that he will be taken care of for 2 days. Then I shall be back. If there is any extra expenses, I shall pay. So he left. This is the story Jesus told to that person and said, whom do you think among these three, whom do you think is the best? He answered, the person who showed compassion and took care of that person. He is the best. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. These teachings, this parable, entered millions and millions of people, of Christians. Oh, I want to be a good Samaritan. Oh, I want to be... Look, the impact, these teachings, how it enters in the minds of the people. Even Hindus, they will, oh, I want to be a good Samaritan. I'm just telling you that how this impact of these teachings formulate our characters, enter our character, our outlook. Just feel for others, do something for others. That is called Christian spirit, love and serve. In the Gospel according to John, we hear a new commandment of Christ. Before the feast of Passover, Jesus knew that his time had come. He was eating the banquet, the Last Supper, with his disciples. He foretold that this one of my disciples will betray me. Judas Iscariot left the table. At that time, Jesus told his disciples, children, little children, he put the word little children, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. This new commandment is the basis of Christian religion. Love one another, love one another, love one another. When we read the lives of the apostles, we find there has a strong bond of love. Do you know what do they call it? Sutre monigana ibo. There are many pearls, but connected with a thread. That thread is love, which holds all the pearls. So all these human beings, it is in the Gita, how all these human beings are connected with the cord of consciousness, with love. You know, look at this society, how God created. We all love each other. You are a plumber, you are an electrician, you have a painter, you have a cook, you are a farmer. We all supporting each other. A plumber is coming and supporting you, a farmer is supporting you, and you are also supporting them. In this way, we find in this world we are all interdependent. See in a big perspective, we are all interdependent. This new commandment is very, very important. Who told these commandments? John. In the book of John, you see there are 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So John was a direct disciple of Christ. He was a cousin of Christ, of course. So what happened, when he became old, he lived in Ephesus. He could not teach anymore, so he was at his home. But the congregation, people wanted him to see. So every day they would carry him on his chair in the church and ask, please tell us what Christ taught you. What have you heard from Christ? You are a direct disciple. We want to hear from you. So John used to say, love one another. First Sunday, second Sunday, third Sunday. All Sundays he told the same thing. Then one day someone asked, did you not hear something else? Only you say love one another? John replied, what else more to say? Those are the final words of Lord Jesus he gave to us before he was arrested. And then crucifixion came. Love one another. That is a very, very powerful teaching of Christ. He is reminding us again and again. Now, love. Most people do not know what love is. I sometimes make a joke, I love you, I miss you, that is American mantra. I remember I used to sometimes when I was in Los Angeles, in California, I used to listen to Robert Schuller's, he was a Reverend Robert Schuller's sermon in Crystal Cathedral. He will appear and with this, God loves you, so do I. I used to think it's easy to love. That person, so rich, built huge empire. I do not know about him much, but how much love he had for humanity, that I wanted to see. Love. We have some fair weather friends. We say, do you know who is your friend? Bandhanat bandhu, the person who binds you with love, that person is your friend. At the time of festivity, at the time of your good time, at the time of famine, at the time of war, At the time of someone dies in your family, if somebody comes and stays with you, that person is your friend. It is in Sanskrit. Utsave vyasane chaiva durvikshe rashtra viplavi rajadware smashane cha yatishtati sabandhava. That person is your friend. Love is a tangible thing that we can see. You cannot demonstrate that way, that this is love. I have a book called Dictionary of Thoughts. It has 192 definitions of love. Each person, all great thinkers define, try to explain what love is. But nobody can say this is love. Narada, the great teacher of Vedanta, he said, love, do you know what? Mukha swadanavat. Muk means dumb. The expression of the dumb. You gave a sumptuous feast to a dumb person and asking, how did you enjoy my food? Through his facial expression, gesture and posture, you can feel that whether that person really loves your food or not. So love is like that. From his expression on the face, on your eyes, it manifests. It cannot be expressed. It manifests. It manifests through your body, through your mind, through your senses. Manifests through your action. That is where love manifests. I read a funny expression of French philosopher Pascal. The wife was crying, husband was a chemist. My dear, why are you crying? Let me first analyze your tears. He took the tears and says, these tears consist of mucus, aqua, salt, phosphate. He was doing chemical analysis of the tears. Then the wife said, you are a stupid, foolish lover. You do not know what love is. Where is love? We find overflowing love on the 14th February, Valentine's Day. That day, I heard from ABC, the American people will spend $4 billion of diamond, jewelry, chocolate, roses. That is love. Balaram, a householder devotee, came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, Master, how can I love God? How can I see God? Sri Ramakrishna gave a very simple answer. Do you love God as you love your wife and children? No, sir. That is the reason you do not see God. Love. Sometimes we see self-sacrifice. I saw a movie, The Tale of Two Cities. A Tale of Two Cities by Dickens. The man who went in the guillotine released the husband of a woman whom he loved. I must give my life to the person whom I loved for her happiness. That, when I saw that movie, I really was so moved. What is called love? Self-sacrifice. I must give my life to make my friend happy. I read another story of self-sacrificing love of a soldier whose friend did not come back from the battlefield. He asked the commander-in-chief, my friend did not return. I should go and bring him back. Oh, no, he must be dead. Don't go. The soldier did not listen to the commander. He went there and found him. But he, at that time, he was also shot. The man who went to rescue his friend. Then he said, the man who was dying in the battlefield, he said, Jack, I knew that you would come to see me during my last time. Saying so, he died. So this wounded soldier put the wounded friend on his shoulder, came back to the camp. Then the commander was scolding him. You brought a corpse, and you are also is dying. I am losing 2 persons. Then this dying man said, when I went there, he was not dead. He was alive. I did not bring a corpse. Saying so, he also died. When I read that story, I felt what true love is. Are you ready to sacrifice your life for the beloved? According to the Vaishnava tradition, there are 3 kinds of love. Samartha, Samanjasa, Sadharani. Sadharani means ordinary love. Very selfish. The whole focus of that love is on me, me, me. I am a love. Not on the beloved. On me. Make me happy, make me satisfied. Whole focus is on me. That is ordinary love. 100% on me. And Samanjasa means 50-50. I love you and you love me. So 50-50. Let us both be happy. And Samartha means I may die, it doesn't matter. You are my beloved. You be happy. That is the highest love, according to Vaishnava tradition. Pure love is very rare in this world, unselfish, unconditional pure love. In the human standpoint, in the human level, we find mother's love for the child. That is the most pure, that is the purest and most unselfish love you can think of. Mother's love for the child, unconditional. Even husband and wife, there is a change of selfishness is there. Swami Vivekananda explained, love is a triangle. The first angle of the love triangle is love knows no fear. What there is fear, there cannot be any love. Second, love knows no bargain. You cannot buy love. I shall give you $1 million. Will you love me? Love cannot be bought. It comes spontaneously from the heart. Third is love for love's sake. Love one another. This is not only to his intimate disciples, he meant it for all humanity. When we love others without motive, our heart expands and selfishness diminishes, and more we become closer to God. A Mother Teresa of Calcutta, she used to teach, she used to love people, thinking that all live in Christ. These are all teachings of Vedanta. As Vedanta says, God dwells in all human beings. Human body is the tabernacle of God. And Sri Ramakrishna said, serve human beings as God. Shiva Gyane, Jiva Shiva. That is the message of Ramakrishna. If we watch the activities of Christ, it was very service-oriented, serve others. Serve others. Then you will survive. Look, in this city, there are so many institutions, educational institutions, hospitals, all managed by the religious organizations. Baptists, Catholics, Lutherans, Protestants, all service-oriented religion. Always remember. Those who, it is all service-oriented. There is another funny story I read from Jim Ello's book. Hand, teeth, tongue, throat said that we shall not work. We are giving food to the stomach does not work, we are working, so we shall go on strike. Hand, teeth, tongue and throat, they are on strike. After 3 days, the whole body became very weak. There is no food in the stomach, what to do? So when they become weak, they apologize, they say, no, we must serve you, otherwise we cannot function. The moral of this story is that how it is important to serve others. In some places you will find neighbors watch. You are in vacation, I am watching your house. And when I am in vacation, you are watching my house. In this way, we live in this society, feeling, loving, caring for each other. That Jesus taught. Patanjali, the father of yoga psychology, tells us, if you really want joy, happiness in this world, practice these 4 virtues. First, Maitri. Develop friendship with others. That will destroy your jealousy. Maitri, Karuna, compassion. Be compassionate. Do you know what does compassion do? It will destroy your malice. Third, Mudita, joyfulness. Some people come to religion, so there's no joy inside. I sometimes say, just like gloomy cloud of Cherrapunji, where there is 500 inches rainfall a year in India. When you come to religion, spirituality, your face will show. That whether you are having joy or not. So mudita means joyfulness. It removes hatred from the heart. And upeksha, indifferent, that removes anger. So these 4 virtues yogi maintain, practice for the equanimity of their minds. Chitta prasadhanam, that brings the mind calm, serene, steady. সবারে বাসরে ভালো নইলে মনের কালো ঘুচবে না রে. Love everybody. Otherwise the darkness of your mind will not go away. Once a disciple came to his guru and said, "What shall I do to love my neighbor?" Guru replied, "Stop hating yourself." The disciple pondered and returned, "But I love myself too much, for I am selfish and self-centered. How can I get rid of it?" The Guru said, "Be friendly to yourself, and yourself will be contented, and it will set you free to love your neighbor." That is a good message. As I say, take position of a giver. Give. Do you know what I was thinking? Perhaps that 160 blankets which are given to these 160 poor people, when they will go to bed at night in cold winter, they will be so happy. So I got 160 units happiness with $1,000. 160 units happiness I got. Those people will bless me. I'm just telling you, just very, very little, but see the impact. We misuse so many things in this world. Just share with others. Swami Vivekananda wrote a poem, Shakhar Prati, to a friend, where he told his life's experience. I shall read a little bit of that poem to you. Give, whoever asks return, his ocean dwindles to a drop. From highest Brahman to the worm, even to the atom's inmost core, all things with love are interfused. Friend, offer body, mind and soul in constant service at their feet. Thy God is here, before thee now, revealed in all these myriad forms, rejecting them where seekest thou his presence. He who freely shares his love with every living thing offers true service unto God. It is in Bengali, it is very poetic. Bohurupe sammukhe chari kotha gujichi ishwar, jive prem kare jai jan, sevichi ishwar. These are all living gods in front of you. Giving up them, where are you seeking God? In the temple, in the mosque, in the church? Serve them, love them. That is the way you will find fulfillment in life. That is the message of Christ. Love one another. Thank you. Masatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mritturma amritam gamaya, abirabirma edhi, rudra jatte dakshinam mukham, tinamam pahi nityam, om shanti, shanti, shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and guide us evermore with thy loving presence. Peace, peace, peace be full.